Here's your lovely host. It's time for Miranda.
Why, thank you, Larry. Yes, I'm Miranda, the Oprah of the Ozarks, here today to visit with the gals about this sad situation our society is in, where we tend to get home from work, slam that front door behind us, then we lock 5 or 6 deadbolts, sit down to a laptop computer where we get on a social network and tweet, text, email, yet we don't even take the time to get to know our next door neighbor. Isn't that a shame? And we want to visit with a gal today that's here with her husband who can... And first, we need to find out who you are.
I'm Shelby Couts.
Shelby, nice to meet you.
Stonewall, Louisiana.
Louisiana. Now, all righty. Now, is that Cajun country or...
Not quite.
You're up north there
Right.
then. Well, Shelby, what's the town again?
Stonewall.
Stonewall. Aha. Now, the man you were sitting with, who is that?
That is my husband, John Couts, and it's our 30th wedding anniversary.
Wow, we've been married to John for 30 years. Is John your first husband?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't have been my first choice either. Now, John is retired?
Yes.
And what did he do for a career?
He's retired out of the Air Force.
Oh, career serviceman.
Retired out of electric purchasing agent.
Oh,
And then he's retiring from ministry.
wow. So, he's been everything then, huh?
Right.
He's ready to go now. Yeah. Been with the ministry. He's got all the right answers. He could pass the test. And
Hope so.
yeah. Well, I hope it helps. Now, is John a romantic man?
Yes.
Well, how lucky, Shelby. My husband, oh my gosh. That commercial comes on TV, and I got to give him one of these. You've probably heard it. Every kiss begins with K. My husband says most of them start with a Bud Light. I've been married several times too, Shelby, and my first husband, the happiest day was when I walked down that aisle, kissed him on the cheek, and closed the lid. I tell you. Now, are there children?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, how many boys? How many girls?
One boy, one daughter, and he has a daughter.
Oh, so there was kind of
Yes.
his, hers, and any hours?
Yeah.
oh,
No
No.
hours.
Okay. So, are they all married and away from home?
Yes.
Okay.
Not too far away from home.
Oh, they stayed close, huh?
Yes.
No divorces in there?
I was a widow. I wasn't divorced. I was a
Oh,
widow.
I see. Okay. But the kids are all...
They're doing pretty good.
Well, good. Well, I do sense a few problems between... yeah, and you're lucky that my associate is here today who can help you tremendously. Dr. Walt Grazier, ladies and gentlemen, is here today. And, yeah. Yeah. Good, Walt.
On you too, hon.
Yes. Well, Shelby and John have been married 30 years. It's their anniversary.
Oh.
Another milestone has been achieved.
Wow.
And they're between them. It's not the first marriage exactly, but there was tragic circumstances. But we're past that now. But you see, the kids, they've all stayed real close to the nest.
Right in the nest.
They don't feel confident enough to leave the nest and, and cut those apron strings.
Yeah.
And obviously due to a poor male role model at home.
I think so.
And that's the way I read it. The poor woman, she's just struggling through 30 years. She's quivering almost here. Yes, hiding her face in
Oh, gosh.
and so I tell you, the ball's in your court. There you go, Doc.
We're going to air it out, okay? Let's talk. You all right, sweetie? She's all broke up. Look at her. She's broke up. You just all keep it
Make
together.
yourself at home.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about your kids. Now you have a son, is that right?
Yes.
Now did he have trouble meeting a woman that you approved of?
No.
No, he didn't. Well, I was asking. I had a young man come to me, and he was having trouble meeting a gal that his mother approved of. Every woman that he brought home to meet his mother hated every one of them, couldn't stand them. And I told him what the secret was. I said, son, you need to find a woman that looks like your mother, acts like your mother, cooks like your mother. Everything's going to go great. He came back a week later. I said, how'd it go? He says, well, I found a woman that looks like my mother, acts like my mother, cooks like my mother. I'm like, what's wrong with that? He says, well, Dad hates her. What town you from?
Stonewall.
Louisiana.
Stonewall, Louisiana.
Why is that name familiar?
Stonewall, Louisiana. I did my underdoctorate there in Stonewall, Louisiana at the Stonewall Memorial Mental Hospital. You know where that is?
No.
We think you do. Well, let me tell you what I did there at the hospital. My job was to help the patients get back out into society, reintegrate themselves out into the world. You know, I take them on field trips, art museums, things like that. And I developed a series of verbal commands to help me deal with them when I was out in public, you know, keep control of the situation. Like we went to a baseball game one time. Oh, we had a good time. We got there to the stadium, you know, we found our seats. They started playing the national anthem. I just said, up nuts, and they all stood up, you know. They finished the national anthem. I said, down nuts, and they all sat down. Somebody hit a home run. I said, cheer nuts, and they all cheered, and things were going great. I left my assistant in charge, and I went to have a beverage. And when I came back, there was chaos and pandemonium all over that section of the stadium. I went right to my assistant. I said, what happened? He says, well, everything was going great. Then this fella came down the aisle and yelled, peanuts! Yes. That story broke you up too, didn't it? Well, let's forget about all that. Let's talk about you. What's your husband's name?
John.
You and John. Let's get intimate with you and John right now. How about that? Have you tried adding excitement to your marriage?
Just 5 minutes ago, your life was so normal.
Well, she's so torn up about it.
Evidently.
She is. I'll tell you what, well, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you some advice. This is what I did for my marriage. I got home before my wife did. I went upstairs. I changed into my birthday suit, if you know what I mean. Going to surprise my wife at the front door. And now we're being sued by the Jehovah's Witness. We got something exciting for you, hon. This is a meal for two next door at the Grand Country Buffet on us. And remember to eat safely. Always use condiments.